Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, here to give you the tea on luxury makeup, and today I'm going to be talking about a brand that I have been in love with for many years now. But this is the first time I'm talking about this brand on this channel this year. Like, the year's about to end and I'm just now making my first video to talk about Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath has been, those who know me well, I have been a big stan of Pat McGrath for a long time. I own so many of her products. Typically whenever she comes out with products, I buy a good majority of her items. But haven't been buying as much lately. And haven't necessarily, like in the past, I've always would buy on the day launches. Wasn't the same this year. I finally just made one. I made one major purchase where I bought several items, not only from the holiday collection, but I also bought some other items that she even came out earlier this year. And I decided I would just buy all the Pat McGrath items that I was interested in all at once this time, and then just make one video just talking about all the items that I bought, but just to talk about Pat McGrath and what she's released in 2024, what I think about these releases, what I think about her brand at this point, because where this brand stands now compared to where it was 4 or 5 years ago, I feel like we're in a different place with the brand, which is kind of sad for me to say. But yeah, I just figured we'd just do one video where we just chit chat and talk about Pat McGrath, specifically her 2024 releases. Now my videos, I normally, go in depth about product, about whatever specific product, and it's usually one or two items, but specific products, and then I always have demo videos. I'm gonna forego a demo video this time. Please forgive me. I'm not gonna do a demo video of eye looks. Because I bought several products. There's so many different products. To make a demo video for every single one, it's a lot. But what I will do though, I will swatch on camera with you all the different products. So we'll have a fun swatch party. I'm gonna post pictures of looks that I've created with these products. And if you've been following me on Instagram, Daps_makeup, you would have already seen these looks. I've been posting all along as I made I would make these purchases and then post the looks with them. And I've created several eye looks, even probably a few that maybe I might not have posted, but I've posted definitely on Instagram. So that's why it's, I hope you're following me here on YouTube, but I also hope that you follow me on Instagram because I'm very active there and I'm always posting makeup looks prior to any YouTube videos that I post here. So, so yeah, I will be I'll show you pictures of some of those looks that I posted on Instagram. So you can see the different eye looks I created with these eye products. You can see these lip products on my lips. I might do some of the lip products on camera with you. So I'll probably do that application with you. But in terms of the eye looks, you're gonna have to, settle for some pictures. But then, at the end, we'll just kind of give a whole summary of what we think of Pat McGrath in terms of where she's at in 2024. All right, so before we get to the products that I actually bought, let me just quickly get out of the way some of the releases that she did early in the year that I passed out on. I'll give you a quick reason why I didn't, what I thought of the products just from afar. So don't mind me if I'm looking down at my phone, and I'll try to pop up on the screen over here maybe somewhere to show you what the products are. So first is her Divine Cream Blush, and I believe she had come out with some new shades this year. I own one, and I have a video where I did a review on it. Maybe I'll post the links on the description box, but I own one and I liked it. You'll see my review. I liked it, but I will admit I don't use it. Even right now, actually, I was trying to look for it. I couldn't even find it. It's somewhere, but I just don't use it. I really don't. And it was pretty, the look that it gave, I thought it was nice. But it is super glowy. You have to really be into that look. And just in general, I'm not really into cream blushes. Now, funny enough, on my cheeks today, I am wearing Danessa Myricks cream blush in the shade Dancing Queen. So you can see the glow that I'm having here. Pat's is much more glowy than this. But I can't even tell you the last time I used this Danessa Myricks cream blush, even though I love it. Like, I think it's a fantastic formula. I love it. But I just always can't help myself. I'm always goes towards just a traditional matte powder blush. So, you know, although it was cool that she came out with some new shades, you know, knowing how I hardly use the one I already own. It didn't seem right to get another one. And these expire. I had to, at the end of the year, I decluttered like 90% of the cream blushes I owned because they were all getting old. So I only left myself with just a couple. And, you know, eventually these, you know, are going to expire as well. So that's where I was with that. And then she did like a matte, a Marc Jacobs collab with her lipsticks, her matte lipsticks. I didn't get it. I do have one of her old traditional ones. It was cool. You know, I remember, and I'll try to pop up the picture. The packaging was beautiful. I actually really liked the brand. I love Marc Jacobs as a brand, and I liked the packaging on this lipstick, but it only came in one shade. It was this like really like true red lipstick, and I don't know, you know, I just didn't need another red lipstick. So if she had come out with other shades, I probably would have gotten it because I really did like the packaging, but not enough, you know, for another red lipstick. So I passed on that. All right, so then she came out with some other lip products, which I did get. So these are the Dramatique Mega Lip Pencils, and she came out maybe with 6 or so shades. I got 2. Now, I didn't get it right away. Like I said, this year was not a year where I was like buying things right at release for the most part. So I waited a little bit. I was thinking about it. I had it on my wish list. But then I kind of waited it out. One of my friends got it. She loved it. And then I was just like, you know what? Let me just bite the bullet and get it. So I actually first started with, I just bought one. I think I even went in store. Like, I didn't buy it online. I went into Sephora and bought it. And it's in the shade Flesh 3. I just felt like it's a little bit more neutral, and I love her Flesh 3 in her bullet form. So I went with that first because I have to say, you know, obviously the main draw to Pat McGrath is her eyeshadows. That's where I think pretty much all of us start when it comes to Pat McGrath. But the second category makeup that I bought from Pat McGrath was lipstick. That was the next product that drew me into the brand itself. It was the first time I had a real luxury matte lipstick, and I fell in love. And Flesh 3 was that shade, and I loved it. Not only because I loved the formula, but I also loved the shade. I had nothing like it. I'm gonna swatch for you the original matte lipstick, and then I'm gonna show you in the lip pencil. Swatch comparison, just so we can see how it compares to the Flesh 3 that we're used to in her matte formula. So there it is. And now let me swatch the Mega Pencil. So pull off the top here. Obviously it's gonna be a thinner swatch, but it's pretty close to the original. It looks pretty much the same. Maybe it might be a little bit more red now than it was before. Last time maybe a little bit more orangey, this time a little bit more red, but pretty close. So it's one of my favorite lipstick shades from Pat McGrath, and just one of my favorite shades in general. So I knew I would love it in this form. So it was just more about, do I love the formula? Clearly I do, because I ended up getting a second one. Yeah, I love this. So the packaging is cool. Now you'll see all the wording is like already rubbed off. Like, so just so you know, like there was a whole bunch, like it had her name and the description already rubbed off. But that's okay, because I just love the formula itself. So it is like literally like the matte, that bullet lipstick, but just in pencil form. So it is a matte formula. It dries down like a matte. It lasts like her like matte formula. So that I love that it gives great pigmentation. It's not transfer proof by any means, but it does have long wear time. It wears off well. So yeah, if you eat, you're going to have to reapply, you know, that kind of thing. But it wears off well. It has some good longevity. It is a true matte lipstick in every sense. I really feel like it's like taking her bullet lipstick and putting it in this form. And I love it because, you know, given this form, it allows you to also use it as liner. You know, I thought maybe would I only like it as liner? No, I do actually like it to fill in my whole lip. I love the size of this because if you go out and you have a cute little person, you don't have that much room, this doesn't take much space at all. So I love this. So this is Flush 3, and I also got it in the shade Garnet Glow. So let me show you that one. Here's Garnet Glow. And there it is next to it. So yes, I know, it's a true red. And I just contradicted myself because I said I wasn't gonna buy the Marc Jacob because it was a true red. I don't need any more reds. I know, but I really like this one. I don't care, I love it. And it's just cool to have a red lipstick in this form. I might not need any more traditional bullet formulation for a lipstick, but I like to have it in this form. So I've worn these both lipsticks by themselves, and I've even done it together where I lined it on the outside with this and then put this in the center. It works both together, it works alone. What I might even do is right now just remove my lip balm right now and put this on my lips so you can see it on my lips. I'm got in close so you can look at straight into my lips. So I'm gonna go on the outside first with Garnet Glow. It is a beautiful red. I'm just gonna feather it in on the outside just to, I think it helps with ombre when you do that. So that is the red, and then I'll put on Flush 3 next. Okay, so I have Flush 3, so I'm gonna put that in the center. Now, I will say when you put them together, they blend in so much together. It really feels like one lipstick color. I hope you can even appreciate the difference. It's going to be hard when they're right next to each other. They're definitely different lipstick colors, but together it almost combines into just, it looks like it's just one, which I also appreciate as well. So I hope you can appreciate the more deeper on the outside and the light, it's a little bit more lighter in the center. But so I'm going to show you pictures of myself wearing this lipstick individually so you can appreciate. So I'll show you a picture of me just wearing Flush 3 by itself. And I'll show you a picture of just me showing just Garnet Glow by itself. Anyone's like, these pencils look like NARS pencils. Remember those old ones? Yeah, and actually I actually still have the big lipstick pencils from NARS. And yes, it is definitely reminiscent. The packaging, everything about it gives NARS vibes all the way. So it's been a while since we've seen this kind of lipstick formula, but yeah, Pat did not invent this because NARS did this before them, and I'm sure maybe some other brand did it before them, but definitely NARS did something like this before them. Just for the hell of it, I got my old NARS, and this is in the shade Do Me Baby. It's in their Velvet Matte lipstick formula. Just for the fun, let's just do it together. But, you know, funny enough, these ones, I don't think I ever actually purchased. I had this one and maybe one or other two more shades, believe it or not. But I don't think I ever purchased them. I think I had always received it as part of like a gift with purchase. I mean, I don't know, maybe I bought it, but I think I actually gotten these as a gift with purchase. But I don't find myself using NARS. I clearly use it because it's gotten small. So I must have liked it at some point, and then I kind of stopped using them. Amazingly that I still have it in my collection. But so I wasn't sure if I was going to love the Pat McGrath, but I actually do. I love these. Like I said, it's a true matte formula. It glides like butter, long lasting, and just convenient, you know, to wear in a small purse, that kind of thing. So I love them. I would definitely say, yeah, you see a shade you like, get it. I forgoed on the other shades just because they just weren't my style. They were kind of very bright for me. But if she comes out with some other shades that I particularly appeal to me, I would buy more. I would actually buy more. That's how much I love. I bought two. I only did those two just because those were the only shades I was interested in. But she comes out with some other fantastic shades, I will buy more. I showed you the packaging for the Mega Lip pencils, but I always love Pat McGrath packaging. I keep them. Like if I have extras, you know, I won't necessarily keep duplicates, but I usually at least keep one because I just love her artwork. That's one of my big draws for Pat McGrath. So this is the packaging for the Mega Lip pencils. All right, let's talk eyeshadows. If it's Pat McGrath, you know we have to talk eyeshadows. So the first palette that I'm going to talk about comes from the Sublime Blooms collection. And this one is the eyeshadow quad called Opalescent Orchid. Look at the packaging. Isn't this gorgeous? The outer carton looks just the same, so I didn't bother bringing the outer carton, but the outer carton looks just like this. Information is on the back with the shades and ingredients, but the front is beautiful. It is cardboard, but it's a sturdy cardboard, but it's cardboard. And these are the 4 shades. So there was another one that was more of a neutral palette. I you know, decided to pass on that, but I went for the fun color shade. So these are just fun, and it's not often that you get a purple or even, you know, like a teal tone. We always get the pinks, but it's not often that you get like lavender and teal. So I decided, yes, this was a palette I want to get. Surprisingly, I didn't get it on launch. Like I thought for sure I was going to buy it on launch day. And then when launch day came, I didn't get it. And I kept waiting. And then I was even waiting to see, like, would it come to Sephora? Would it go on sale? It never did. And so when the holiday collection came, I decided to buy it along with a couple items from the holiday collection. This palette I actually have on my eyes now. So I actually put the green on the inner third, the lavender on the outer third. This white, I'm going to swatch it for you, is actually comes off pink. I put that in the inner corner, and then this pink, I put it all in my transition. Now I did take one matte shadow from one of the holiday collections to deepen my crease and to bring a little bit more purple to the look, so it wasn't so pink. But I did use all 4 to create this look that I have today, which is a fun eye look. Let me swatch these shades, and then I'll tell you what I think about the shadows. So starting with the white shade, and I hope you can appreciate the lights might be washing it out and bringing out the whiteness out more, but in person it definitely has a pink. It's frosty, yes, but it definitely has a pink to it, even a little bit of gold specks in there as well. But it's more of a frosty pink. Then next, let's go with the lavender. This has a stronger base to it, as you can see. And so you can see it's like a silver lavender, silver purple shade. Let's go with the teal shade. There you go there, gorgeous. And then lastly, the pink shade. This, I bought this in the fall, but these colors feel more like spring appropriate, but not that I adhere to like those kind of seasonal categories. I wear what I want when I want all year round, don't care. But yeah, this kind of gives very, even the packaging gives very spring, even summer vibes. But that's what's on my eyes now. These are 4 fun, gorgeous shades. I was thinking also, just before I give you my final thoughts on this palette, just a couple of swatch comparisons. So when I was thinking about this frosty white pink shade, I immediately thought of a shade from the Divine One palette, this one here. It has the same concept where it looks white in the pan, but it actually comes off pinkish. So let me put that over here. So very similar. So if you got Divine One, you know, it's basically like the same shade essentially. I will say the one from the Mothership is smoother than this one. It just feels smoother to touch in application. So obviously, you know, Mothership shadows have an extra layer of, you know, quality to them. Not that these are bad quality, but, you know, whenever you compare Motherships to you know, her smaller quads and, you know, quints, it's a little bit different, but these are very similar. So same idea. And I believe also this was actually originally a highlighter shade that she had in one of her old highlighters that I didn't own the highlighter, but we have it here in the Motherships. And I got another one that I want to compare. Pink. Now, obviously, Pat McGrath, she is notorious for pink. She has a lot of pink. So I could go on and on forever trying to compare different pinks. I'm going to only compare this deeper pink to just two shades from Pat McGrath. I'm not going to go through my whole Pat McGrath collection. We will be here all day. I'm going to first go into my Divine Rose 2 palette. I'm going to swatch it against this shade here. Now, it's not the same. As you can see, this is more straight up pink, like hot pink, where this has a little bit, even a little bit purple to it. And then I also want to compare, going back to Divine Rose 1, to this shade, which is also in the Mothership number 2 palette, Sublime, I think it's called. And this is more muted. So I kind of feel like the shade's kind of in between these, or like I said, this has a little bit more purple to it. But I also wanted to compare just because I kind of felt the formula, not exactly the same, but it is in the same realm of that kind of formula. Because what I do appreciate about those formulas is specifically is that, yeah, it works to, you know, use it all over the lid, but it's also great to just use in your transition like you would a matte. Like I initially went into my transition with it, and I've done it before, and it works really well. So I love the blendability of it, that I can also blend it like a regular matte shadow, like I would, even though it has more of a satiny kind of formula, but it just blends beautifully. Or you could just pack it on thick onto your lid, and you can do that too. So it does have some versatility there. In terms of the other two shadows, obviously these are the two fun shades. I'm not sure I have anything in her collection that's quite these colors. And so I use them by itself today, and it totally works. But I'll say you could even use this as a topper. I've used like a more bronze, from one of the other shadows we'll go through. I took like one of a more basic bronze shade, and then I had tapped this over it, and that worked too as like a topper shade. So you know, it's still good quality. There's some versatility with these shadows. So this is a fun palette. Now, obviously, you're gonna have to dip from. Not obviously, but for most of us, we're going to have to dip out into another palette to do some matte. You might, you know, this is a fun look that I did today, but you might want to get out some more neutral matte shadows, and then just pick one or two shimmers to use like on the lid, or you can have a lot of fun like I did. So you can, you know, tone it down or build it up as much as you want to. So it's a fun palette. It's just one of those kind of just fun palettes. And she doesn't do, you know, lavenders and teals often. So I wanted to jump at the chance to get that. But now let's get to the holiday collection. All right. Now finally she is, assuming she's not coming out with anything else, she's ending the year with her holiday collection. And she came out with a lot of eyeshadow palettes for this collection. I got 2 of the 5 pans, okay? I wasn't gonna buy it all because it's just too much. So just to quickly go over the ones I did not get, she had her huge, and this whole collection is called the Luminous Legends, by the way. So her large palette is called the Mega Eyeshadow Palette. I have her big palettes from previous holiday collections, but this year I decided to forego because I tend to like quints and quads, and I especially love her 5 pans. And so I just felt like I'm getting her 5 pan. I got that other quad from the Sublime Blooms palette. It was just going to be too much also getting the Mega palette, and I'm just not into the big palettes as much anymore, although I do love her previous ones, some more than others, but I do love her previous ones. So It looks fun. It has, you know, you got your neutral mattes, you know, and shimmers, but then you got some pops of colors with some blues and purples in there. So it does look like a fun palette. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, should I have gotten it? But to be honest, also, given the 3 palettes I ended up getting, I feel like I have some shades kind of like it. So I'm trying to be good and hold off with it, but it does look like a beautiful palette. And then she came out with some duos. That's something she doesn't normally do. So she had 3 sets of those. I was tempted by that, especially like the green one and even the black and gold. I was tempted by those, but once again, I was just like, you know what? I'd rather have a 5 pan than 2 pans. I'm already buying enough, so I was like, we're just gonna let that go. So let's just go over what I got. Now, so she has 2 of them. I'm just looking down. Let's see. So the one I knew, like, for sure, I was like, there's no question. The minute I saw it, I was like, gotta get it, was the one called Starfell Seduction. And you can see why. These colors are just gorgeous. And once again, you know, not so often when we get purples from her. So to get a palette that has purples and blues, you know, I had to get this, So this wasn't even a question. The question mark was this one, Dawn Divinity. I was going back and forth to get it, not together, because as you can see, it's a very simple palette, neutrals, you know, and obviously, you know, if I look hard enough in my collection, I got to have these kind of shades. If not with her, just with my collection, my huge eyeshadow collection just in general. So initially I was only going to get the one, but then, you know, of course she comes out with these beautiful photos and it was looking like this shade right here was going to be super special. And I figured she would have a deal with these multiple ones. So I was just like, you know what, let me, and because I've also had some 5 pans previously that even the ones that in the past have seemed quote unquote boring, I've actually ended up liking. So I decided, you know, to just bite the bullet and get it. Let me show you how much I love her 5 pans. Look at all my other 5 pans that I own from her. Yeah. So yeah, I got 2, 4, 6, 9 other. Now it's 11. 9 other 5 pans. So that's how much I love her 5 pans. So let's do a quick swatch party for these, and then I will tell you what I think about these. Do I like them as much as her previous ones? Is the quality the same? What do I think? So let's get swatching. Let's start with the fun one first. So I'll just go down the line. So we got this fun one here. That shimmer. Now we're gonna get into some mattes. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I mean, I'm telling you. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Of course, she has to have a pink somewhere in it. You know, she had to have a matte pink in there. And then this one. Oh my God, this last one here. Ugh. Ah! All right, let me swatch the other one. I'm gonna go down the line and swatch the more neutral palette. So I was excited for this bronzy shade. I know we all have bronze, but it's gonna be hard to see, but there's little pink little sparkles in there. So I was excited to see how that looked. Not as prominent as I thought it was gonna be, but it's still pretty shade. Of course, you gotta have some golds. If it's not pink, then it's gold usually. This is a more red tone. We do have one matte in this palette. It's like a warm brown. And then, of course, another gold. I'm going to re-swatch that matte. I'm so sorry. Let me just wipe my finger and I'm going to redo it. This deserves a much better swatch than that. Okay, so there's your matte brown. So, all right. So here are the 2 palettes. So what do I think? Let me start with the boring palette and then we go with the fun palette. With this palette, you know, these are just, you know, I don't hate it, but, you know, obviously these are all these are all shades we all have. I mean, you gotta have these shadows. So there's nothing really exciting about this color story, but it is a good formula. It's Pat McGrath, so it is a good formula. There's only one matte, which kind of sucks. And I'm used to, you know, I buy quints and quads where a lot of times it's just shimmer, so you have to go out. So I have to go outside of this palette, which is fine. It's not like I don't do this on the regular, but for me, like, this does work well on my skin tone, so I can use this in the transition, and it's nice warm brown. But then I'll always want to dip out somewhere else to get some depth to put deep in my crease. But it works. It's nice. It's creamy. I do like the formula of her mattes in the 5 pans. And then you have lots to choose from with the shimmers. And they're all nice, you know, but like I said, there's nothing exciting about this palette, but it's a nice palette. Now, as you already figured, which one's my favorite? Yeah, okay. Of course it's this one. This is good. This is good. This is the palette out of all the palettes, even out of all 3. If you're gonna buy one eyeshadow palette from her, at least from what I bought, because I don't have the Mega palette, that looks great, but just out of the 3 that I bought, this is the one that I just absolutely love the most. I've been using this a lot. I've used them all, but this is great because using this matte all over, it's a gorgeous color. And obviously you gotta love the color story, so if purple's not your thing, I mean, you gotta love purple. But this is a fantastic matte to use in the transition. I did use it in here along with the pink from the Opalescent Orchid. But deep in my crease, that purple is this shadow here, blends beautifully, lovely color. This all over the lid, gorgeous, gorgeous. This in the corner, great. This works, you know, a matte that would work in the same aspect like I use the pink from the other shadow. It's cool, you know, nothing bad about it, but obviously my favorites are all the purples. And then this shadow here, oh my God, I love this. Not only for the color, but I do feel it has a lot of versatility with this formula. So like I said, you know, there's not too many choices. There's mattes, but you know, these are great for transition. In terms for depth, I like to use this, not just, you know, you can put it all over the lid and it's gorgeous, but I actually like to use this shade almost like a matte, and I'll put it in the transition and it blends smoothly. And so even as, you know, I know it looks so dark and deep, but you can like blend this out and it can get, it'll still obviously give you some depth, but it'll be softer. And so you can determine how much depth you want it to be. So it actually blends beautifully in the crease. Put it on the lid, heavy-handed, smudge it on your lower lash line. Like, this shadow is fantastic. So this whole palette is just great. I love it. You know, compared to my originals, like, probably still my favorite are the original. The first 2 she ever came out with was it Bronze Bliss? Probably still like, I don't know, it might still be my favorite. Maybe I'm nostalgic, but the formula on this was fantastic. No other 5 pan that she's come out with or anything has come out with a shimmer like this silver. Oh my God. So this is the best. Even though this is like a neutral palette, I actually still love it. I, believe it or not, love this palette. In terms of the Star Wars, the best one is the one with the Darth Vader. This one is like a mini Mothership number 8, honestly, which is my favorite Mothership. So this is fantastic. The other 2, I mean, this is fun, but almost like too much fun. And then this one's like almost a little too boring. And then the other ones that she came out with last year were great. Like, these are great. I love this one. So that'd probably be my next favorite. I know it's boring, but these are still good because I just like the quality. So even though these are quote unquote boring, I actually really like them. This was a fun one. So I would say like my top favorites are the OGs, the Darth Vader one. Definitely this is in my top. This, I love this one. And then actually this whole collection, these are like in the middle, but these are just like standard ones that you just can't miss. You know, they just work. So can we talk? Let me give you my final thoughts on the products I bought, the shopping experience I had when I made this purchase, and just my overall arching thoughts on Pat McGrath as a brand this year. So first off, I think it's pretty clear in terms of the items that I did buy, my recommendations, my favorite is this specific 5 pan called Starfell Seduction. If this is the kind of colors you like, this is a fantastic palette. And I love the Mega pencils. So if you see shades that you like, just formula is great. I just love those. So those are my favorite out of the items that I bought. Okay, so in terms of my shopping experience. So when it came to the holiday collection, that is when I purchased pretty much all of these products. It was one mega pencil I did buy earlier, but outside of that, the rest were all bought all at the same time. So I bought it on launch day for the holiday collection. I was excited for the 5 pans, and I was like, you know what? This one I'm going to buy on launch day. Couple things that happened when I did that purchase. Number one, normally when you buy on launch day, you sign up ahead of time to be on their list where they give you a heads up when it's coming out. And normally the morning of, you get an email where it has a code where you can get like 10% off. That's a typical. Well, when that morning came, no code. There was no code this year, which is a first. All previous years, you always got to get 10% off on launch day. There was no code. So I did not get the discount that I expected to get. You know, especially nowadays where most of the time, you know, it's even big enough to like want a 10% because, you know, a lot of times if you wait long enough with her, you can get a much bigger sale. But at the very least, you expect to get that 10% off if you're buying on launch day. That didn't happen. The other thing is, you know, when I was deciding about the 5 pans, you know, and I was like, should I get the 1 or should I get the 2? I was also thinking, because what normally happens on launch day, they have these different groupings where they'll give little deals where I expected to have one where they have these 2 together with the mega palette, with, you know, do kind of things where you can, and then if you buy multiple items, you get a little bit of discount. On launch day, that was not available. Now, I did see now on the website, it's there, which kind of irks me now as well, because here I am buying on, where was the incentive to buy on launch day anymore? Because the incentive normally is you get the 10% discount. I didn't get that. And then you didn't have the deals with, you know, combinations, and that came now later. So now for anybody who's smart enough not to buy on launch day and buy now, like if you were interested in the 2 of these, you can get a discount, save a little bit of money now buying the 2 versus when I did, I paid full price for both of these. I was just, you know, I just went ahead and got it anyway, but in hindsight, and I just figured if they didn't do it on launch day, then they were never going to do it. But in hindsight, should have just waited because I would have later got the deal. So did not get any special deals buying on launch day. So, you know, reasons to wait launch day now, there's really no reason anymore. You know, and, you know, people are losing interest in buying launch day in general just because we were finding out that just throughout the year, not just Black Friday or anything like that, throughout the year, Pat McGrath has been giving all kinds of crazy sales. And so, you know, there's never been an incentive to buy launch day anymore, and especially not now, especially not this year. So going forward, do not buy on launch. I mean, unless you really, really want it, that kind of thing. But you're better off, even if you're interested in Pat McGrath, not to buy on launch day, because you wait long enough, there's always going to be a deal. And you're not going to get any deals on launch day anymore. It looks, at least that's what it looks like. Hopefully she changes and gives back the code, but as of right now, there's no launch day code. There's no launch day discounts at all. The discounts come later. And then next, shipping. It took at least 2 weeks, maybe even close to 3 weeks before they actually shipped my product, which I know I shouldn't be surprised. Pat McGrath is notorious for having shipping issues. I've always been kind of lucky that usually my products usually ship pretty fast. I think I must live near one of their centers. So in the past, I used to get them, you know, I used to not have to wait so long, but this time I definitely had to wait. So yeah, it took 2 to 3 weeks for them to just ship out my products. I wish they had at least given a heads up, because I know sometimes in the past with certain collections, if you read the fine print, they'll tell you like, hey, we're not going to ship for another week or so, but they didn't. And even me reaching out to Pat McGrath, they couldn't give me any information. They're just like, here's a tracking number, but the tracking number still doesn't tell me when are you going to ship, what's going on. So yeah, shipping issues, definitely no better than it was before. Lack of discounts. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing. And it just seems like, and oh, the biggest disappointment. Hello, mothership. This is like our first year in a long time that we haven't had a mothership. Like, that's what we wait for every year, is for the mothership. As great as these are, I love her quints and quads, and I enjoy them. but it's not the same as a mothership. Mothership, number one, packaging quality, you know, to get this kind of, you know, the beveled mirror, you know, this packaging is so luxe. It's heavy, it's luxe. You know, these are now all made of cardboard. You know, even there was a time where you could get lacquered quads, but now everything is cardboard, which I don't mind. You know, these are great for travel. You know, hey, you know, these are more affordable than obviously a mothership. So I accept that, like, there's going to be ones where it's going to be paper, cardboard, and a little bit more affordable, not cheap, but more affordable. And the mothership, that's where you put the big bucks. But it's worth the $125 because of the luxe packaging and obviously the main attraction, the luxe shadows, because the quality of her shadows are, and no matter what, nothing will ever compare to the quality that you get in the mothership. So that was a major disappointment for this year. No motherships. I hope and pray that next year we get a mothership. I hope this is not the end of her mothership. Lastly, in general, it just feels like the excitement for Pat McGrath is gone. I mean, it's been going down for a while now. I've been a huge stan that even when everybody else was leaving and falling off for Pat McGrath, I was still holding strong. I was still buying her products. I was still in love with her product. I still love her. Like, it's not even... Look, I bought these items and I don't regret them. So I haven't stopped loving Pat McGrath, but there's no longer this excitement that they used to. Every time she had a launch, there was an excitement. Everybody was buying on launch day. There was times when it would be sold out. There was an excitement for what she was coming out with. And, you know, these last couple years, excitement is going away. You know, it kind of feels like she's been playing safe. I know, you know, doing a lot of pink palettes, a lot of neutral palettes, not a lot of exciting colors. She was known when she came out for being the innovator. She was doing color stories that nobody was doing. She was doing things that nobody was doing. And now, you know, it feels like she's just playing it safe. And, you know, there are other brands that are doing some more exciting palettes than she is. So it is kind of sad, you know, because, you know, I didn't want to let go, and I'm not letting go of my love for her, but, you know, I hate to see that even my excitement is dwindling for her, not giving up on her. I'm always going to be checking out for what she does, you know, I'm not saying I'm going to stop buying her products because her quality of products is still better than most other brands that are out there. So no matter what, I'm not going to stop loving Pat McGrath, you know. It's just, you know, the one time we had real excitement for Pat McGrath is, you know, when she, like, what she does on the runway, like the looks that she does on the runway, that had brought so much excitement to the whole makeup community. And we're just always hoping that that excitement and that creativity that she does on the runway would translate back to her brand, which it hasn't been seeming like that lately, but hopefully things turn around in 2025. We will see. But yeah, that's my final thoughts on Pat McGrath 2024, the products I bought, the products I didn't buy, the brand. That's my thought. Let me know what you think. Tell me in the chat what you think about the brand, what you think about the releases. Did you buy anything? Do you plan on buying anything? Are you over her? Are you still, you know, hopeful for the brand? Tell me your thoughts. And yeah, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a lovely day, and bye.